We get John Deaton's Bombshell, and he has it on video, so we're gonna watch it. And here's another quick video of the history of XRP, right? So it originally came from right here. You can see right here the history here. The Ripple project was from Ryan Fugger, right? And then the three geniuses were Joel Katz, Arthur Brittam, Jid McCaleb. These are the guys that took the project forward, and then Chris Larson was one of the co-founders, big investors. And here's the video. Let's watch the video and start from the beginning here, so you could.
Ripple actually goes back to 04. So the kind of seed of it was a project called the Ripple Project, which was created by this really smart engineer up in Canada, Ryan Fugger, who had this idea of creating a person-to-person exchange of kind of credits, personal credits or IOUs, which effectively you could always argue credit and currencies. You can almost argue everybody has their own currency and their credit. They're very related. And it was a really neat system. It was a nonprofit. It was kind of a one-man show. He worked on it for years. Got a lot of respect and attention, but never really got the scale. Maybe it was just too early. And then fast forward to 2011, which was when these three geniuses, one of them sitting right here, got together and knew about Bitcoin, obviously. Bitcoin had a bit earlier, but had decided that Bitcoin was, brilliant, but very wasteful. So the idea was to build both a more efficient, consensus algorithm that didn't consume so much electricity like Bitcoin did, but accomplished the same thing. But importantly, at the same time, was also taking some of the ideas from the Ripple project around the idea of pathfinding algorithms to exchange anything of value for any other thing of value. And that combination was kind of a magic combination. So you had kind of the ability to exchange anything of value in a very efficient way through this ingenious pathfinding algorithm, coupled with a digital asset that had no counterparty or gateway counterparty. That's a neat combination. In fact, that is kind of the germ of what I think we now view as a much broader Internet of Value. That concept has kind of held. So I got involved with, the three geniuses working on this stuff. Soon thereafter, the technology sort of became stable enough to declare it, something's going to happen. That's sort of effectively the birth of XRP. We then created a company that was going to advocate for that ecosystem and focus on the ecosystem, which was then gifted a large percent of the XRP. We also then bought Ryan's Ripple project, folded that into the efforts, which was neat. That was kind of an exchange of stock. And then we also were lucky enough to be able to acquire the URL for Ripple, which is kind of a funny story. It came from a Grateful Dead super fan. It's related to the song Ripple from the Grateful Dead. We always loved the Grateful Dead. And so that all kind of came together in 2012. And that's how Ripple got started.
Really, really cool story. Pretty quick, he glossed over some of the stuff that more detailed, but you get the point. The next thing, and this is HRP Drops. He's a good page, good follow. Shout out HRP Drops. And then here we got John Deaton. Here is his live footage. It's 17 minutes, so I don't know how long we're gonna watch, but let's watch.
And I am live. And I got to admit, I'm a bit nervous. I usually don't get nervous in these situations, but I'm not going to front. I'm a bit nervous. And I got to tell everybody out there right off the bat that I'm likely never going to pre-announce an announcement again. And I'll tell you why. And I'm not pointing the fingers at anybody. I'm not blaming anyone. It is this phenomena of social media, the beast itself, especially on X, formerly known as Twitter. I say a few days ago, I'm announced this big news if everything works out. And then someone says it's massive news. That's John's, and then it's huge news. And by the time it gets to the 20th post, it's Deaton has never hyped something this much in his life. It's got to be life-altering news. And it's like those Hinman emails. The expectations get so big and so much that you're worried that you'll never be able to satisfy them. If you remember the Hinman emails, some people called it a nothing burger, even though we learned a valuable information. And so, let me just make it clear. I've seen comments like, I'm going to announce the settlement. I don't work for Ripple. I don't work at the SEC. I've always told you I don't have that kind of power, that influence. I don't know whether to be flattered or concerned. I can't do that. I can't make XRP go to $10. If I could, I would. Trust me. And so I normally don't give a shit what people think of me or what they say. If you know me, you know that. But I care what a lot of you think. And I care because you have supported me from the beginning, and you've shown me so much love and defended me and put your trust in me. And we don't give trust that much nowadays to people. And credibility is earned over time, and it can be lost quick. And so I'll be honest, I've been in fear for the last 24 hours, especially, that I'm going to disappoint people that I do care about. So I don't have one announcement to make. I have three that I'm going to try to make, or I'm going to make, and I'm hoping cumulatively that they satisfy these expectations that have been out there. Okay, let's get to the first. Oh, let me first say I've seen some incredible guesses of what I was going to do. My favorite, sorry, I'm not dropping a rap album today at the age of 55. Although if I did, it wouldn't be a comeback because I've been here for years. And maybe some of you will know what I'm talking about. So here we are. Announcement number one. Okay. If you were to take a poll right now of the most talked about person within the XRP community, it's not John Deaton. It's not digital asset investor. It's not BitBoy or Ben Armstrong. It would be a fella by the name of Steve Nerroff, an attorney. And what's coincidentally is if you go to crypto law, I put his case where he was charged by the government, and I put it on my crypto law site long before I ever really knew of him. I also had him on the crypto law video timeline. That's our timeline because I only have that because of you XRP sleuths out there, and we put that together. And I put his case on crypto law because, one, who he was, truly an OG in this crypto game. I tweeted out, I saw a tweet from him in 2010 when Bitcoin was 30 cents promoting it. And we know that he was at the beginning of Ethereum and others. And so just that made me put it up. Plus the fact that the case got dismissed, that made it interesting. But look, it's on the website, even though it doesn't paint Stephen, if you just read the government's version, in a favorable light, because on crypto law and John Deaton, we don't give free passes. And that is a pun that is intended. Okay. And so when the government drops a case after making such egregious charges, it makes you start thinking. Now, let me make it clear. There are times when a government will drop a case and dismiss their charges for valid reasons. It could be they want bigger fish and the case could affect an ongoing investigation. Or it could be they found exculpatory evidence and so they dismissed the case. I wish that happened more often, but it doesn't. But that's another valid reason. And then, of course, you could be protecting a victim, maybe a young victim. But when none of that is present and the government, after making such charges like that, then when the defendant says, you know what, I know you're threatening me with decades of prison, but I'm not going to be intimidated. I plead not guilty. I want my day in court. And then the government dismisses their case with prejudice. It makes you think and it makes you pause. There is pause for speculation of what's going on here. And so because of that, I reached out and talked to Stephen, and I can tell you that when you take all those facts and then you add being thrown in a van and said, give us the dirt if you know any on certain people. And if you don't know any dirt, you can make some up. We want something on these people. And those people are the stewards of the industry. Caitlin Long, I just had her on Crypto Law just last week. And we talked about what's going on with them in the Choke Point 2.0. Naomi Brockwell, that's my client. She's a journalist who teaches people independence and privacy. Why is her name being dropped by the government? And so you have to sit back and take all that in and say something is up here. And we seek the truth. So I have been speaking with Steve Nerroff, and let me make this clear. All my communications are protected by the attorney-client privilege. All right? Read that into that how you will. And anything that I have seen so far and what I intend to see is protected by the attorney-client privilege. Now, when Steve Nerroff is ready and it's appropriate for him and everything that's going on behind the scenes to go more public and tell his entire story, and we search for that truth, because that's what we're after, I'm confident I'll get him on Crypto Law. And because of the privilege and because of certain things, obviously I'm limited in what I can say, but let me make a few observations moving forward, okay? One, I have seen some of the receipts that Mr. Nerroff claims to have. I've seen them. And let me say this. I understand why Steve Nerroff truly believes that he was targeted and that he was prosecuted. I understand why he feels that. That's the first thing. Second thing, the people who distanced themselves from Mr. Nerroff, who minimized and trivialized his role in the beginning of certain platforms. I'm not going to get into names, but those people that have been saying that, I've seen some receipts. I can tell you they are not telling the truth. Okay, take that for what it is. A third observation I will make. Now, if the Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson trial moves forward, based on what I've seen and what I know, I can tell you that the cross-examination of Bill Hinman will be of epic proportions, okay? And when I say that, I'm not engaging in hyperbole. Let's just say for you Ricky Ricardo fans out there, Lucy, you got a lot of explaining to do. Now, matter of fact, I'll tell you this. To Brad and Chris, I've done all I've done so far for free. I'll offer my services. I'm a trial attorney. I'll come in. I'll cross-examine Billy Boy myself free of charge. My final comment as we move forward, when I first started this, I was asked a question. John, do you think that this regulatory capture that I can tell you for sure has happened, people going to be held accountable, and is the truth going to come out? And my answer was, I can't tell you whether people are going to be held accountable, because what's that mean? That's a relative term. You might think someone deserves to be in prison, and they get disbarred and a slap on the fine and probation. So maybe the statute of limitations runs and you can never bring charges. I said, I can't say that. I don't know. Time will tell. But what I did say is the truth will come out. And we're getting closer as each day passes to that truth coming out. Imagine, let me tell you something about the truth. Imagine a dark, dark room where it's pitch black, but the sun is out beaming. It's going to find its way through the cracks. If it's a pigeonhole in a doorknob, the truth will come through, and we will eventually get to that truth. And I can tell you, even though I'm limited in what I can say right now, that we're inching closer and closer to that truth. It will come out. I can tell you, without disclosing too much, that certain people out there, like Boring Sleuth and Mr. Hubert, keep doing what you're doing, people, okay? Because we're getting closer, all right? So that's announcement number one. Announcement number two is about my t-shirt, Spin the Bits. When I started this and trying to do the amicus brief, I started looking for, is there a company out there that's got nothing to do with Ripple that is building on the XRP ledger? And are they doing it on their own with no technical assistance, no money, nothing? Preferably, Brad Garlinghouse has never heard of the company. And I found Jay Campbell of Spin the Bits and this payment app. And I've watched him, and they filed an amicus brief, and I've talked to him. And on XRP Vegas on stage, I introduced him. I said, he doesn't matter who Satoshi Nakamoto was. What matters is who Satoshi Nakamoto today. And I said, Jay Campbell is that. He's going to fulfill that vision of Satoshi Nakamoto. And I said on stage that I was begging, right, Jay, to let me become involved. And let me tell you, in the last 3 years, I've been approached by multiple projects. John, just sponsor this. You get 1 million coins. John, just do this. Here's $100,000. John, will you just endorse this or be a part of us? And I turned it all down. And instead, I've asked Jay to let me become an angel investor or part investor in Spin the Bits, and he's agreed it. So now I am part of Spin the Bits. All right, I'm not just an XRP holder. I'm going to be part of helping develop Spin the Bits on the XRP ledger and moving forward. Call me the chief legal advisor if you want. So that's exciting for me. Just so before you clowns out there start asking for something, we're not asking for a dime. We're not doing a crowd sell. We're not asking for investors. I'm just letting you know how exciting it is for me to be a part of Spin the Bits as we move forward. And if I'm involved in it and Jay Campbell's involved in it, I can guarantee it's going to be successful. Now, the third announcement, I'm hoping cumulatively it has an impact. The third announcement is very close. People say their life's work. This really is my life's work. In March of 2020, long before I was involved in any of this stuff, I began writing a memoir, and I called it Food Stamp Warrior. All right, and it was because my mom died, and it's taken 4 years to get to the point where it's out today. And I didn't think it was going to take 4 years to do it, but then again, I got sidetracked. In addition to my full job, I got involved in this world of securities laws and crypto. And while I was writing this book, I debated many, many times whether to publish it. And if you read it, you'll truly understand why I debated and why it was such an internal struggle, whether or not to disclose and share with the world. And I guarantee you, because listen, the book has poverty, violence, drugs, addiction, sex, severe abuse, and race. All the things that we're not supposed to talk about today, I talk about and I address in this book. And I know there's going to be people that read it. They're going to say, whoa, man, you shouldn't have said all that. You shouldn't have shared all that. That's too much. I haven't listened to those people all my life. And the reason I ultimately decided to share it was because of many of you people out there. If you read it, you'll learn that everybody says I worked for free for the last 3 years, but it's really not true. I haven't received any money. I haven't received any crypto or any of that, and I spent my own money. But what you'll learn is that many of you who believed in me and joined me when I did what I did you inspired me and you lifted me up. And quite honestly, one of the worst times of my life. And so I thought about it and I said, you know, even though my life experiences, if you read about it, are extreme and severe, that you don't have to have those experiences. We all, every single one of us, carry burdens around. We carry it with us every day, and we face obstacles. And this book, I'm telling you, will prove to you that you can overcome those obstacles and you can overcome those burdens, no matter if they're life imposed or self-imposed. You can do it. And because you're going to face life's greatest adversary, yourself, just like I did. And you overcome it by never giving up, no matter what the odds are. And you keep fighting every day, and you fight for the life you deserve. And so I'm hoping by releasing this and sharing it with you, and you'll know what I mean when you read it, if you read it, that maybe it'll help somebody out there in some small way. With that, I hope cumulatively I've met most of your expectations. Sorry, I can't say the case settled, but listen, for those that have supported me, I love you, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of you next week. God bless.
Okay, y'all, that was it. Thank you, John, for that. And yeah, that's what we got for today.